The amendments would, one, allow the council member to appoint members to fill vacant positions if the CDPAC serves within the council member's council district and the position has been vacant for at least 3 months, subject to confirmation by the council. Two, allow a CDPAC member to serve up to 3 terms. And 3, require that vacancies be filled before replacing a CDPAC member whose term has expired if that member is willing to continue to serve until the vacancies are filled. Reference Communication 601, introduced by Ms. Willie.
Anyway, I am against the amendment to modify the terms of membership and tenure to allow CDP members to serve for a longer period of time. The present code, section 16.5, simply says that in A, the CDP Action Committee shall consist of 9 members appointed by the mayor and approved by the county council. And in B, it says the members shall serve staggered terms of 4 years. 3 members shall serve terms of 2 years, a term of 2 years. 3 members for a term of 3 years, and 3 members for a term of 4 years. When the term of a member expires, the member shall continue to serve until a successor is appointed. Members whose terms expire may not be reappointed for an additional term without the passage of 2 years' time. So the present ordinance is fair and objective and need not change. The amendment in section 16.5 that Ms. Willie suggests adds, if a position remains vacant for more than 3 months, a person to fill the position may be appointed by a council member who represents the area. Do you know what this means? This means that our councilwoman can pick any of her supporter friends and it becomes a political appointment. Although presently it says that members are appointed by the mayor, we apply for the CDP position and our records are checked by the county, so it's not a political position. In B, Ms. Willie wants to change the CDP Action Committee tenure to add, members may be appointed up to 3 terms. What? This is blatant political control. That means that CDP members can serve from 6 to 12 years. That's more than the US presidents. That's tyranny. If you remember, my nomination to the CDP was stopped because the CDP chairman felt that he and another CDP member should interview the nominees, and Ms. Willie supported him wholeheartedly. To that, I said, it's a voluntary position. He is not my employer, and I am not his employee. When you have the chairman and 2 or 3 members interviewing the incoming nominee, it's subtle intimidation, and it's cunningly set up, the hierarchy. This amendment is just that. It's a subtle and cunning plan to control. And I certainly am not in favor of that. And I hope you all vote that down because this is not right. Please. Thank you.
Moved by Councilmember Willie, seconded by Ms. Poindexter. Before we go into discussion, I just want to make sure that all council members are aware that on our charter, the members shall be appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the council and may be removed upon recommendation by the mayor and approval of the council. This current bill, it goes against our charter. Unless our charter is amended, then applying this law would go against the charter. So I just want to state that out. We're going to open it up for discussion.
I'm trying to bring this up for discussion of problems with the CDPs around the county and how we address it. In particular, the failure to appoint members and lack of quorum, and now even adding in that the new planning department's position that there won't be meetings every other month. But both the South and the North Kohala CDPs have had a lack of quorum on quite a few times and vacancies despite applications being put in. So I was really following up on a suggestion that was made in another context by Ms. David. Okay, if the mayor doesn't do it, then can a council person, the council person isn't going to just appoint it, they would still same way come before the council. That's one, one issue. Another thing is really in terms of terms, and terms, right now you can just do one term and then you're out. And I just find some of the members that have been there, finally who are on subcommittees and are leading the subcommittees are doing a lot of work, are really just getting going and doing great things by the end of their first term. Maybe just doing it 2 terms. I've had a number of comments from different CDP members around the county. Maybe 2 terms would be good. But a big problem has been where there are members whose terms end and they're still there being replaced while there are other vacancies that are completely empty and not being filled. So I was trying to add that in.
I was trying to do some real quick research over there, but aren't these CDP action committees a creation of ordinance? It's not by charter, right?
Right, and that's right, but it is still a board and commission.
Right. Well, because I just quickly looked
Yeah.
over the charter, and it, the requirements of the charter relate specifically to charter-created boards and commissions. I could be wrong, but I really quickly looked at that. So maybe Miss Willie, is onto something over here with this ordinance because it relates to something that was created by ordinance. But if she wants to take a look at it more closely, then that's fine.
Yeah.
From my understanding, and maybe Corp Counsel can speak on this behalf, is that it does pertain to all boards and commission. But let's have the opinion of our Corporation Counsel.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Molly Stebbins, Corporation Counsel. Yes, the provision in the charter, I agree that it specifically pertains to boards and commissions established in the charter. So by ordinance, you're free to adopt provisions that may be inconsistent with Section 3-4. I think there's other issues, along the same line that we discussed when there was a proposed bill to change the way members of the Board of Ethics were appointed, where you're really running into more of a separation of powers issue. But if it's, I won't at this time, unless there's a desire to discuss that more, I'll refrain from doing so if this bill is going to be postponed.
Right? So all council members heard that, and it looks like Mr. Paleka.
I totally agree. Right. Period.
Mr. Chung?
Yeah, well, having said that, I just want to also say that there are broader issues. Yeah, I just wanted to make that one point, but there really are other issues relating to this that are more far-reaching, and I think we should take a closer look at it.
I just want to try to steer the direction, not as a chair, but as a council member on District 4. And my point is mostly about the mayor's office has been doing their job on trying to fulfill these positions. And we have experienced it today throughout our committee meetings. I feel like they have also been filling out these boards and commissions that we're trying to address right now. So with that, I feel that we should postpone this indefinitely and not have to go through council with a positive or negative recommendation. That's just my point, and I'm not going to make a motion because of the fact that I can't. But I will facilitate however the majority wants to go, because that's my job as the chair. But I just want to let you know as a council member that I don't support this bill, and that's where I'm at.
Okay. I do not feel that we've been doing an adequate job. And I am making suggestions here, but I'm open to others. You know, I sort of wanted to put something out and listen. So what are the problems right now, say in North and South Kohala? I look at, we've gone through what are the people who have submitted applications. I think there have been 4 who said their applications have been lost after they were submitted. It's been a long time. This does give the mayor at least, 3 months to fill it. If he's doing his job and that office is doing the job, then it doesn't fall back. I just want a default because people in, say, North Carolina, why should I want to be on that commission when the administration isn't supporting it? When we had maybe 4 or 5 applications in and people aren't even informed that they're not being selected. So it's not working well. It's working terribly. And I'm trying to address the problem. So again, I don't necessarily feel my solutions are the best, but I want this brought forward so that we discuss it. And I would like to postpone it till the next council meeting. And, I'd like to hear if you all have other suggestions other than saying there's no problem, then hear them. And I'm very open to modifying this so that I want to address a problem that's, I think, is significant and not back out and just say it's not our job and it's being done right. So I yield and I move to postpone until our next council meeting.
I just want to make a statement on the postponement. With it, we can do something about it. It's not that we can't. You can talk to your community and put that recommendations to Shar, and we'll move it through the nomination process. It's not like it's not just the mayor's job to pick out who to nominate. It's also the council members can make those recommendations to the mayor's office. So I don't see why that becomes a problem. That's why I'm not gonna support the postponement, and I wanna support a postponement indefinitely. Mr. Chung on the postponement?
Well, I was going to ask, what your preference was going to be as the chair of the committee. I'll support you.
Thank you.
I mean, as long as there's a reasonable expectation of it coming up again, not that it's going to be mired in some kind of committee forever.
So, may I just quickly
Are you
address-
chair or are you here as council, speaking as council person?
Okay,
Just
Ms.
so I
Willie,
get clarification of the hat.
I addressed Mr. Chung, and now I'm trying to address his question. I want to support a postponement indefinitely, which goes against what you're saying in the sense of you want to see this come up again. I would like to see this not come up again. That's what I'm saying. Because it's postponed indefinitely in the committee.
Just shelve it.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like more of a middle ground on this. Perhaps it resurface within 3 months. 3 months. But if your intention is to just have it disappear, then I'm gonna have a hard time on that one. I think. Yeah, I think we should be able to weigh in on this at some point. I'm not saying I'd support the bill ultimately, but I think in fairness to Ms. Willie, we should have it come up at some point, but not necessarily at our next meeting.
I'm willing to change that.
I think a good point has been made, and maybe that will give me an opportunity to go back to my CDP as well and ask their opinion on this. And I would ask that it be postponed till a later time instead of the next meeting. So thank you.
Okay. Can I respond to that?
Ms. Willie?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It was actually after I made the motion thinking maybe it would be good so that people do have an opportunity to talk to CDP members. Because again, I'm trying address where I see significant problems. And let me just say where plenty of applications have gone in and that people still are not appointed. And it's, not just, CDP action committees, but other commissions. But, so I'd like to change that, and I'm happy to do it for 2 months from now, or even, I'm open to 3 months if somebody felt that, but
Ms.
at
Willie,
least 2
before
months.
you withdraw this motion and make another motion for postponement, let's hear what Mr. Canoe has to say.
Okay.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Chair. And, I mean, it doesn't really have to be postponed. It can just be withdrawn and introduced again at a later time, whenever it's more convenient for yourself, after it's been properly vetted through whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be a set date for postponement, since everybody's kind of saying it can be brought up later on. Just an option. It's still in our minds and in the community's minds. You can always put it on the floor or bring it to committee at any point.
I think I'd just rather I find I work better where we're going to do it and then people get input and know what's going to be happening.
Let's withdraw this postponement, and then you can make a new motion on.
Okay, I'll withdraw that postponement and instead move to postpone it to the second meeting in March.
Okay, the motion is to.
April, because to the April. What's the second meeting in April?
Yeah, April 19th, West Hawaii.
April 19th.
Okay. Now the discussion for postponement. I will support this motion to postponement to April 19th. And I just want to say, when this does come up again on April 19th, and these positions are being filled during that time, then I don't see why we should change what's. I don't see why changing it, and if it's an issue of not filling those vacancies and they're being addressed, then why are we spending any more time on this? That's my comment. And any others have any comment on the postponement?
Have any movement in the nomination of those CDPs for specifically Kohala area coming up that we know of?
I think that there are some, at least that are coming up on South Kohala. There are vacancies continuing in North Kohala. I mean, I think on both. But I just want to also add to please look at not just that issue, but also the issue of where people whose terms have ended and where they are willing to stay on until like other vacancies are filled and they're getting knocked off and then there's not quorum. That there are several problems here, not just that one. So I just want to make sure.
Okay, I'm just speaking to the postponement part of the issue. At this point, I would find it hard to support this bill based on the separation of powers issue, but I'm always willing to listen in and perhaps learn. But I am concerned regarding the postponement here, that if it does get filled, hopefully we're not wasting our time. That's my concern. Thank you.
Any other committee members wishes to speak on the postponement? All right, looks like Mr. Kanua.
During this time, it's going to be following all of our budget reviews.
Good
And,
catch.
I mean, if you guys want to postpone it to then, that's fine, but it's during a really busy time of budget. So,
Mr. Kanuha had a very good suggestion. Just withdraw the bill, and when you see it being a problem, then introduce a bill specifically for end of term, not regarding putting it all into one bill.
I just won't support it during this time.
I have a question for Mr. Kanuha.
Go ahead, Ms. Willie.
Yeah, Chair, looking at the calendar, what do you see would be best? And I also know Mr. Chung had a question about March, that there was some problem about March. Will you not be here or something?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, first.
No, I just asked for 3 months.
Okay.
And instead,
Three,
she
okay.
actually suggested 2, so I had suggested 3 earlier.
Yeah, so, Chair Kanua, what,
That's, I gotta stick to my original statement of just withdrawing and kind of looking at the calendar of when would be the best time to introduce it. Maybe we could talk afterwards about, that's what
okay. Okay, I'm amenable to that. And I'm also amenable to splitting it into what I do into two separate bills so that, as deal with separation of powers on where we need to deal with that, not have it impact where it's irrelevant to that issue. Okay, so I, at this time, with, yes. I will withdraw the request to postpone, and I will withdraw the bill, and I do intend to bring it back in terms of separate, as soon as I will meet with the chair and figure out what the best timing is
Okay.
in terms of our calendar.
Thank you, Ms. Willie. Bill 127 has been withdrawn. It looks 124 has been withdrawn. 127 we already done, and 128. It looks like we have everything taken care of.
Second.
Okay. Motion to adjourn is by Mr. Onishi, seconded by Mr.